So, you wake up on a Saturday morning, the sun is up high and the birds are chirping. You decide to go to your computer and sit down to enjoy some video games, since you have no life and we're all just a bunch of fucking losers. You take a sip of some flat coke from last night,
nice,
and open up the Steam store, just to find this. So of course, you tell all your friends about this cool new awesome game and you all buy it and start playing together. You end up playing the game for a couple of hours and now you can't refund it. Fuck. Welcome, and this is the disappointment of Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. If you're just an average Joe gamer like myself, then you have probably heard of or seen Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. The game that has had probably the worst launch I've seen in a fat while. With hundreds of mostly negative reviews just hours into the game's release, it is safe to say that even Cyberpunk had probably a better time than this. Even YouTubers started clickbait titles about it. I would never do that. And so I bought the game just to see how butt fucking bad it was. And for a hefty price of 669 Rand, which is 47 fucking dollars, that is a lot. At first, the game concept really isn't bad. It's a type of game that done right will have players constantly playing it. Give World of Warcraft Dungeons as an example. Even though the game isn't based around dungeons, people are still constantly playing them and having international tournaments to see who can do them faster. The game's bones and structure were both there, but the meats and flesh and juiciness of a steak just wasn't. I still remember launching the game thinking of how much of a blast this game can be, but then still struggling to find more than one person in a quick play. Half of the time during my play session, I found myself either confused about why I'm dying so quickly, or why the fuck the AI was just so bad. I felt that on the first or second difficulty, the game was too easy, but then on the third or fourth, it just took too goddamn long to finish. Enemies were either just not reacting and letting me kill them, or they still weren't reacting and just taking forever to kill. It was truly frustrating. It honestly felt like I was banging the most beautiful woman in the world, but then not being able to finish. In which I would much rather bang a good looking gal and then be able to finish. You dig? I remember when I eventually did find a decent lobby with another fellow, we got to the boss and it just felt disjointed. The boss's animations were just unclear, so I never knew when he was going to attack, plus there was way too little time between his attacks for me to get much, if any, damage in. And this was only the third difficulty. I cannot imagine the sixth. Now, of course, we cannot only talk about the bad when there is also some good to the game. But seriously, there are some pretty epic poggers moments to the game.
Epic poggers moment.
The combat feels great. It flows really nicely and feels like your attacks seriously damage the enemy since they get, knocked back and get hit to the floor. I also feel like the skill gap in the game is good, since you can get really complicated with moves, but you can also just keep it simple. With some questionable camera angles overall, the combat feels fluent and just great. The final thing that I want to touch on is how the game looks. It looks good, genuinely. I love that the dungeons aren't all the same and have different environments to them, and also that your character's armors and weapons can look different too, since with every piece of loot you get, it can make your character's appearance change. Man, even the voice acting was great. Every time you spawn in, the characters exchange a few lines that reveals a bit of the Dungeons & Dragons lore, and if you didn't read any of the Dungeons & Dragons books, then it's pretty cool. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I'm trying to get this channel up and rolling and I need your guys' help. Thank you guys for watching, and that was the disappointment of Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Check you guys in the next video.